appreciate you. She said, you're not alone. Appreciate it. No, but truly, I missed y'all, man. It's crazy. We was gone for a week, and I did not get to get on book club last Saturday. Actually, you know what? I was on book club last Saturday in the chair. Quit playing. I missed y'all on Wednesday, though. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But it's good to see everybody today. I'm not gonna lie to you. I completely spaced on what chapters we were reading. So I'm about to tackle some of these chapters right now myself, as well as just really tune in to what everybody's talking about. But in that, y'all, I'm excited. This book has definitely, I should have read it over this past week, and I should have been in tune while I was on the cruise
No
because
excuse.
I know, right? Other than like no service, and I only have the ebook on my phone. You can't see it, but
You
I
can
definitely
download it.
last 48
Put it
hours.
in
No,
your
I have it.
library.
It is in my library, but it doesn't work off Wi-Fi, bro. It's Apple.
That's crazy.
But either way, I love y'all, and I'm here. This has been a long time since I haven't read the chapters on a freaking book club, and it actually feels crazy, and I don't like this feeling at all whatsoever.
Oh no.
I don't see how people can do this week after week because this is giving me anxiety to even be on here. So, but we here and we's about to get it in, and I'm excited to hear y'all take as I also catch up. And truly, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been steadily tuning in. Thank you to everybody who's like literally consistently believed in the vision of what we have here. Also, as we step into this next season and everything's really coming into fruition, everything's really locking in, everything's really coming together. I just appreciate everybody for being here and being involved in all the pieces and the parts of the process. Truly. So just wanted to say that before we kick this thing off. God bless each and every one of y'all. I hope this Saturday is amazing. And let's get it, Cram. Who wants to kick us off today? Any takes? Hey,
Well,
Rookie.
just to keep everybody caught in the loop. What up, Gary? I don't know. Was that your niece, Amber? What's up? Hi. Y'all, I'm a sucker for kids, real talk. But just so, huh? You should have one of your own. In time, mom. My mom over here telling me I should have some of my own in time. We're gonna get there. Okay, but what's up, y'all? We're covering chapters 6, 7, and
Fingers
8.
hurt.
I know. Chapter 6 is stop fuming and fretting, which is fire. Chapter 7 is expect the best and get it. And then chapter 8 is I don't believe in defeat. In other words, it's not over until I win. Okay, anyways, if anybody wants to kick us off, be my guest. I can get the conversation rolling if we need be, but I'm curious to see who's ready. This is a thick book, so I know it's a little intimidating too, so I apologize, but trust and believe this is honestly one of the most impactful ones, especially in terms of having the right mindset, regardless of what you're going after, entrepreneurial, relationship wise, just living your life. It honestly teaches a lot of principles, and as you can tell, a lot of those principles are inspired by biblical teachings and scripture. So, does anybody want to volunteer as tribute? If not, it's okay. I got you.
I can go.
All right, appreciate you. Miss Powerful Creator, you got the floor.
It's my birthday. Happy birthday.
Hey, let's go.
Birthday. Happy
Yay.
birthday.
It's the
We're out here
22nd. Oh, let's go.
with the
Happy
power of.
Feliz cumpleaños.
And I rented this beautiful Airbnb, so I'm just like literally living my best life right now. All right, let's get into it. So, stop fuming and fretting. Obviously everything we read is divine timing and in alignment because I was definitely fuming and fretting. I caught myself like just being upset about things, being frustrated about things, and knowing that the word like a simple example, my um the batteries to my smoke detectors were going out, and then like we were changing them and it wasn't working, and it just kept like beeping over and over and over and over again, and it was annoying. And I am a very light sleeper. I'm just sensitive like in general. So like with light and with noise, like can't do it anyway. So it was just like annoying me, like just like just that beeping, and I feel like I couldn't do anything about it. So then it was like tapping me into like feelings of like hopelessness, and it was just like I could tell I was like if I didn't get a handle on my emotions, I was gonna go down like a negative little rabbit hole. And I knew that I wasn't gonna fix the problem, so I had chill out, and breathe and not allow myself to fume and fret. 1 second. I have some notes that on my phone. The power of positive thinking. Okay, so here's some notes that I wrote down. So one, I really liked when it talked about reduce your pace to find peace. So I like to practice that a lot. Like just take my time and like go slow with things, especially if we are like going really, really fast and our emotions are high. Like one thing that the way that I think about it is I think about it in a sense of like power, like us, like we're really, really, really powerful and our power is impartial. So just the way that we can create life, we can also destroy life. And so whenever I find myself like in a negative rabbit hole or I'm like frustrated about something, like I'll remind myself, um, just like how powerful I am. And I'm like, Amber, if you do not get a hold on this, like everything that you've been creating, you can destroy. Like y'all know, like we build relationships, like it takes a lot to build trust and it you can lose trust very quickly, you know? And so when we're like in a state of being frustrated and like those we have to get a handle on that because we can like literally ruin our lives, like destroy things out of emotion. So one of the things that I like that it talks about in here was reducing your pace. So it says many people fume and fret due to the fast pace of modern life, which leads to physical and emotional exhaustion. Slowing down, aligning with God's calm peace, and avoiding unnecessary rush allows for inner peace and efficiency. So I was literally talking to my sister about that last night because we were doing face masks and stuff, and she was like rushing, and uh, I was like, chill out. And I know like she has a baby, and like the baby was in the room, and it is a different lifestyle. Like her mind is preoccupied on something different, so that makes sense, especially like compared to me, where it's no care in the world. Like I'm good, so I could just sit here all day long. Um, but so I think it's helpful, like, for those helpful reminders and just like reminding ourselves, like, we're safe and everything's okay and we have time. Um, and I like the example in the book. He talked about how like he was gonna rush to this dinner, but then he decided like it didn't matter like what time he showed up or whatever. So he just decided to take his time and he ended up showing up and everything was fine. And I feel that a lot. Like there's times where I like you want to rush, you want to get there, but we have to remember like we're creating that experience and we get to create it every single time. So like for example, one thing that I like to do, and this also to me taps into like feminine energy. Like feminine energy is like a lot more about like experiencing. And so like allowing, like, so a simple example would be when you drink a coffee in like a masculine way, you're drinking it for like the caffeine. So you could like hurry up, do it, like get, like for the result, right? So like masculinity could be like very result oriented versus feminine energy could be experience oriented. So like drinking your coffee in a feminine energy way would be like tasting it, slowing down, like this and that. So basically, I do that whenever I get ready. Like I take my time to get ready, like to go anywhere, and it's not just because it takes me that long to get ready, but like I'm vibrationally tuning myself to the experience that I want to have in like this next segment, right? So whether it's going to work or going out or whatever, like as I'm getting ready, like I'm listening to the music that I'm allowing myself to feel how I want to feel for the night. And so to me that just brings me back to like this, like slowing down, finding your pace and not like forcing anything. I'm only gonna go over this chapter because I just feel like I'm talking a lot already. Okay, practice physical and mental relaxation. Um, One thing I realized too, like awareness, is sometimes we don't know how to relax. Like we've been in survival mode our whole entire lives, and we're just so used to everything being chaotic, everything being at this pace of like an unhealthy amount of urgency. We have to like literally like allow ourselves to relax. And this is something like literally in this past year I started thinking more about, just because like I have ADHD. I know some other people in our community have related to that, and uh I've had to learn how I relax, like how my mind relaxes. Cause like literally when there's nothing to do, like all the tasks are done and it's just like quiet. Like sometimes I have to like be mindful with myself because I'll find myself wanting to rush and do something else or think about the next thing to do or, scroll on TikTok or, on the phone and realize like my mind's not really even resting. So just being more mindful about that and like exactly like it says, like practice physical and mental relaxation. Like it's a practice. It's not something I think we should look at it like that. Like relaxing is just as important as going to work out, going to drink water, doing all of those things. And so actually taking time to breathe and just relax um, is apparently one of the ways of positive thinking. Okay, so relaxation techniques can help reduce emotional excitement and stress. Steps include sitting relaxed, visualizing peaceful scenes. I think she's okay. What? Visualizing peaceful scenes, repeating calming words like tranquility and serenity. I really like this because I was taught this by another mentor. But like whenever you like I always talk about this with the power of your words, and sometimes I mean it literally, like if you're feeling something and you want to feel something else, like starting to say those words. What's wrong? You can do it. You can do it. Keep going. You got it. You're doing a good job. You can do it. Sit down. She did it. She's sitting on the toilet. Okay. Um, yeah, so saying words like tranquility, serenity, peace, calm, love, amazing. I like to say the words thank you, like if I'm feeling because if you always want to go to gratitude. Like gratitude is like on a like high vibration. So if you don't know what to do, like go to gratitude. And so always like I'll repeat in my mind like thank you God, thank you God, thank you God, thank you God. And that'll start to like ease my nervous system. And then the last one, use faith to replace fretting. This is my last point. Develop a calm philosophy of living through religious faith and daily practice of prayer, relaxation, and trusting God leads to peace of mind. Belief in God's guidance and letting go of nervous excitement helps to eliminate. I'm on the phone, Nene. I'm awake. Um, Belief in God's guidance and letting go of nervous excitement helps to do not mess up my book. So basically, last point. I'm also reading Think and Grow Rich, and it's like obviously very complimentary with this book too. And so a couple weeks ago, we read over the chapter over faith, and that chapter like helped me see faith just more deeper. And faith is a mindset, like it's a mindset, it's a way that you think about things, and that's what we're doing. We're training ourselves how to think, and that's a superpower. Like if you know how to think properly, you can literally do anything. Like it's not about the task at hand, it's about how you think. If you know how to think the right way, you could literally do anything. And we're learning how to do that. So having faith in everything like at the end of the day, faith is a mindset and faith is something that you can't see. So like you have to use the power of your imagination and believe in something that's not here to remain positive. Like sometimes things aren't going to make sense. It's not going to be in front of you and you have to tap into the unseen and believe and have faith. So that's what I got off this chapter. The other two chapters, super fire. Obviously, expect the best and get it. And I don't believe in defeat. I really like that. Just like quick sentence on that. Yeah, I believe failure is like an illusion. I don't think there's no such thing as failure. Um, like even when you set goals and you don't hit them, you look back and you learn from what you could have done better and you do it again. Like it's not over. It's not over until you die, right? It's not over until you quit. One, two. Okay. Let's see. Who do I want to go next? Anastasia. Why not, Anastasia?
I'll go.
Yo,
Part
I
of
just
me
hopped
feels
on this.
like
Yeah, I just hopped on this book club. I haven't been reading it. I was like, you know what? I need to get back into TGF, so let's go.
okay, bet. Let's go. I'm gonna take the mic though, because I know a good amount of people didn't
I'm
read.
trying to pause.
And here's what I'm gonna say before I go into it. Y'all, please read the book. This one, this one truly can do so much for you, especially in this current season that we find a lot of ourselves in, because it gives you the opportunity to, like Amber said, train your paradigm. change your perspective. So what I'm going to say is, like, I know some people might have read, or you read a little bit, or you haven't read it all, but what I'm going to encourage you guys is to, like, put your mind, put yourself, and put your belief in God as a priority. And honestly, like, just dive into what the book is reading about, because this stuff has completely changed me as an individual. And I am grateful for it because it further solidified my studies within my Bible and allowed me to, like, live more purposefully with intention. Where I tell people, like, if you live intentionally, essentially, intention is doing things for a purpose on purpose. So if you know what you're going after and why you're doing it, then you're able to specifically have certain habits and certain thoughts that yield to the things that you want. The only way that you're going to give yourself the chance to do and have different is if you expose your mindset to different thought processes that allow you to have a different paradigm. So that's my little spiel. Please read the book, y'all, is all I'm going to say. Or just listen to the audio while you're walking around or driving. And don't, you gotta read it, just listen. Um, I love what Amber touched on in terms of the chapter 6 of Stop Fuming and Fretting. I'm gonna touch on in that chapter the calm philosophy of living. And it's literally done wonders for my personal emotional intelligence, but, like, my ability to navigate some pretty difficult situations and circumstances that I honestly never I have to. Oh, did some break? Y'all good? Oh, you good? Okay. Um, but yeah, it's honestly helped me out a lot. So the calm philosophy of living, he says, where's it at? So he was talking to his doctor, or no, he was talking to an individual who spoke about his doctor telling him that the only cure for him was to develop what he calls a calm philosophy of living. But the guy was like, how in the world could I even do that? It's a lot easier said than done. And then he outlined a bit of advice that seemed wise to the author. And the author said, in response, the guy explained, he goes, the doctor suggested that I see people here at the church, for he feels that if I learn to use faith in a practical manner, it will give me peace of mind, thence bringing my blood pressure down. Then I will feel better physically. While I realize the doctor's prescription is sensible, he complained, how can a man 50 years old of a high-strung nature such as mine suddenly change the habits of a lifetime and develop the so-called calm philosophy of living? Like, it's a lot easier said than done. We live a fast-paced life. A lot of us got a lot of things going on. And sometimes it gets extremely overwhelming. Well, let me just say, y'all, completely give it to Jesus and he'll take it for you. And that's essentially what he talks about, right? He brought out multiple parts of the gospel throughout this chapter, even quoted some of the prophecies by Isaiah, but he goes from Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Right, and then he says, peace, this is Jesus talking, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, but as I giveth. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. So he's saying, like, I'm giving you a peace, therefore don't be afraid and don't be worried or troubled about what you're going on, right? I like to take this, especially scripture, I like to read it like black and white. What is the word saying? Not what do I think it's saying? Like, what is it actually saying, right? And then Isaiah goes, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. And what's honestly wild is that, like, Jesus Christ helped him and has obviously also helped me develop a calm philosophy of living, because it brings about a peace and quietness that allows you to not only think differently, but be different. What a lot of people don't recognize, I learned this in college, is that your thoughts are actual electrical signals in your brain. And based on what you think or the commands that you give your body, chemicals get released in your body and it causes a reaction to occur. whether that is you having higher cortisol levels or lower cortisol levels, right? One of the more physiological things that I love about your mind is that you can absolutely keep yourself more healthy because you're thinking better. A lot of people, like he talked about blood pressure in the example, they don't understand that blood pressure is a effect of being exposed to high levels of stress for an extreme period of time. Stress is a good thing. Quick little science lesson. Stress is a good thing, y'all. Like if you're stressed, good. Like it's what keeps you alive, right? If we don't have nothing to stress, you literally are just there and you'll be existent rather than intentional. So stress is a good thing. It causes us, and in like high impact situations, like who remembers the flight or flight response, right? When something crazy happens, endorphins get released in your body, cortisol gets released, which is a very big chemical, and then you have endorphins like adrenaline kick in that causes you to have extra strength or heightened reflexes in times where your life is in danger. Then you have the flight response where there's no other response in your body other than get the hell out of there, right? So overall, these things are really good for you. Now, what's bad is having that exposure to stress for long periods of time. And that's why, like, having the quiet time, having the willingness to sit in his peace, to pray, as Amber said, to find like your ultimate focus in your present moment gives you an ability to focus on right here, right now, rather than things that are causing extra stress. When you expose yourself to more stress, you release more levels of cortisol. You have you have higher levels of heart rate increasing, blood pressure increases. Your body is working in overdrive. That is why we live. If you guys have listened to The Strangest Secret, he talks about how we live in the age of ulcers and anxiety and stress. You literally can develop health issues and problems by the way you think. The opposite is also true. If you're struggling in that regard, just know that like your situations are developed from your thinking. So if you want your situation to be different, you have to think differently. And the reason why I loved getting into science about that is because God has given you everything you need in your brain to execute and have a life of abundance, of health, of joy, of gratitude, of experiences. You just have to have like a willingness to actually give that to him. Y'all better stop eating them hot Cheetos. That's real life too. If you're obviously having better thought processes, you're gonna make better choices. And that's essentially what he talks about. Boom. In chapter 7. But anyways, calm philosophy of living, y'all. If you don't know how to do that, read the Gospels, and God will tell you how. It's honestly amazing. Matthew, Luke, Mark, and John. You can definitely get in tune with what Jesus says. But this is the last thing I'll say on it. He goes, boom. Where is it at? All right, he leadeth me beside the still waters. What I love about that being referenced is we all read the 7 spiritual laws of success. He also quoted that exact scripture and just reminds you like you have to intentionally implement silence, stillness, and peace in your life, right? So in the morning, you can ask my family. I literally, when it's not freezing outside, I was gonna say cuss word, but when it's not freezing outside, I'll go outside, I will ground myself, I will pray, and I will breathe. I don't look at my phone, I don't talk to nobody. I just like get in motion with myself and what the Lord has for me today. And then I'm allowed, like I set my internal thermometer, as Ed Milet would say, to a position of being calm, to being in a trusting state. Yeah, I poured cold water on my face. I used to do cold showers. That was extremely painful. Um, I am working my way up there to get back into it. But anyways, chapter 7. This is the one that I really wanted to touch on because I think it makes the ultimate difference. He says on page 93, a person who is self-reliant, positive, optimistic, and undertakes his work with the assurance of success magnetizes his condition. He draws to himself the creative powers of the universe. So in a sense, he says, so expect the best at all times. As Mikhail likes to say, like inspect what you expect, right? If you want to have the ability, you literally need faith. Period, point blank. It's all mindset. He goes on chapter 86. This is his word, so don't shoot the messenger. He goes, start reading the New Testament and notice the number of times it refers to faith. It's actually crazy. Like Jesus always talks about, like, you have little faith. Why don't you believe? Faith the size of a mustard seed could move an entire mountain. He goes, select a dozen of the strongest statements about the faith, the ones that you like best, then memorize each one. Let these faith concepts drop into your conscious mind. Right? I kind of went in this in Unlimited whenever I go about like why goals work, but you have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Your conscious mind makes up only 5% of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Your subconscious mind makes up 95% of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. How do you subconsciously get into a default of I believe and I expect the best to happen for my life? You have to intentionally program your subconscious mind. Consciously, you have to choose certain thoughts, which is why he's telling you, choose some scripture, memorize it, and repeat it to yourself. He tells you throughout the book, say certain things on a day-to-day basis, right? In the first beginning chapters, he says, God is with me, God is helping me, God is guiding me. God is with me, God is helping me, God is guiding me. I say that literally at least 3 times a day, multiple times. He also says in Philippians, say 5 times a day, I believe that. Like I look at a game plan, I be seeing the scenario, I see the executable steps I need to take, and then I look at myself, I'm like, I believe that game plan. I believe in this skill set. I believe in our organization. I believe in my people. And most people don't recognize that the Bible emphasizes the method in which a person can make something of himself or herself. Faith, belief, positive thinking, faith in God, faith in other people, faith in yourself, faith in life. This is the essence of the technique that teaches, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. That's the book of Mark, chapter 9, verse 23. First time that I heard that from another individual was, again, The Strangest Secret. And I listen to that thing at least once a week. And all I know is your mind is a garden. It does not care what you plant in it. It will reap what you sow in it regardless. So if you're planting disbelief and doubt and worry, you're going to receive that tenfold. But if you consciously plant faith, belief, excitement, peace, gratitude, then you are consciously influencing the part of your brain that has you living in your default. And I tell people the key is like to intentionally reprogram your brain. Like you've been literally spammed to think a specific type of way for decades. Everybody over here is at least over 20. So I'm going to say for decades, right? At least 2. You've been outside being influenced by your environment, the news, and people around you. This is done literally in a way that you are completely both aware and unaware of. This is why in scripture and personal development in every industry, they literally, the people at the top, the most successful, the most fulfilled, they are mindful of what they listen to. They're mindful of what they look at. They're mindful of what they read. They're mindful of what they watch. They're mindful of the conversations that they have. They're mindful of the words that they say. And they're mindful of the people that they're around because they know on a subconscious level they're being influenced. Protect your gate. Your garden is your brain, and you choose what to plant in it. So like the main focus that I want y'all to like take away from it, especially if you haven't read, is that expecting the best means that you put your whole heart i.e., the central essence of your personality, into what you want to accomplish. Results do not yield themselves to the person who refuses to give himself to the desired results. I want to repeat this. Please listen, because you're going to be around in circles and frustrated with yourself for the rest of your life if you don't fully grasp what that sentence says. He says, results do not yield, meaning they will not be given to you. Results do not yield themselves to the person who refuses to give himself to the desired results. A major key to success in this life is attaining that which you deeply desire. Whatever you are doing, give it all you've got. Life cannot deny itself to the person who gives life his all. Don't be a holdout. Go all out. Do this, and life will not hold out on you. That's page 87. If there are 2 pages that you should read out of this book, 86 and 87, it literally gives you the blueprint. Go and seek and find the information that can influence your subconscious mind. You have to consciously put that thought in your brain so that it influences your subconscious mind, and then you become from a space of, all right, I'm going to do this habit. I got to think about it. I got to get up and go to the gym. I got to go and read this book. I got to go and think positive. I got to catch that negative thought, and then I got to replace it with 3 positive ones. You go from having to think about it to like, oh, bro, that's my default. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even got to think twice. The moment I catch a negative thought, I'm replacing that thing. The moment I find myself in turmoil and suffering and frustration, I'm calling up my people. And I'm seeking the information that'll influence me to get back on track. As I told Sam, I just focus on getting my mind right. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all human beings. We're going to falter and be influenced by both negative and positive things that happen to us, both in and out of our control. We can't control those things. And trying to control them is a waste of your energy, your time, and your mental capacity, because thoughts actually take up space in your brain. So if you can get to a position in time where you can have faith in God and what he has for you, you can have faith in those around you and yourself, then your automatic default is to literally believe in what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Me and Sam, we've been very transparent with each other over this season, and we had a really dope conversation the other day. And overall, like, Sam has seen me go through the ringer and struggle, but also remain consistent in what I'm focused on. And I remember calling him excited because of where we're at and what we're about to do. And I could feel that my brother was struggling a little bit, and I was just reminding him, like, hey, bro, I'm all in. I'm all in on the life that God has for me. I'm all in on serving people and helping my family get to where we need to go. Being all in is not just talking about it and not just doing the things. It's literally, as he said, putting your whole heart, i.e., the central essence of your personality. So, like, who are you for real? If you don't really know that answer, all you got to do is look at the fruit that you have bared. Like, what have you produced in your life and in the life of others? What have you done for someone else today? My pastor from Young Adults, he had a great reel. He goes, what is your best friend's goal this year? Do you even know that? And if you don't know that, go ask. And if you didn't ask, it's because you didn't care. Mikhail knows, bro. I've been on me and him, bro. I've been trying to hear my brother's goals for a minute. So we're gonna get that done here in this next week. But like, I genuinely care about those things, right? He goes, what is your mother's biggest dream? Like, do you know that? He was like, what's that business idea, that entrepreneurial idea that your brother or your sister are going after? And the essence of it is, like, for a second, if you read the Gospels in the New Testament and you really look at how Jesus lived, it was never about him. It was always about us. And he literally gave us the blueprint to, like, care about other people. Whenever I first started, I think one of the biggest things that kind of flipped the rock over for me in the industry of network marketing, where I went from not getting paid for years to getting paid every single Friday for 2.5 years, wasn't because of the work I put in. It was the intention and the time and the energy that I invested in other people that got me paid. I literally sat on a call for at least an hour with every single one of the individuals that I said I would do business in life with, and I asked them about their goals. What do you want to go and accomplish over the next year, over the next 5 years? And then like I intentively listened without saying what I want to do, without trying to influence them and what they should do. No, I just like for a second, I'm there for them and I can listen because I genuinely want to be there for people. But that's because I chose to be all in. And that didn't happen until I read these pages. And then like I actually did the things that we were saying. Like I struggled for a long time knowing that I'm a positive person, but finding myself stressed and pissed off and fretting all the time. I'm not gonna lie to you, but yo, Jesus has literally changed my entire life, guys. And he's just trying to get y'all to understand that you really don't need anything else. If you allow yourself to be freed from self-doubt, you can put your whole self into your endeavor. So like move about today, move about your life in the regard of like, what would I go and do? What would I say? How would I act if I knew I could not fail? If I understood and I truly believe that it's already done and I'm going to win, how would I speak? How would I treat my people? And then embody that so that you can attract and actually magnetize what it is that you're aiming for. My fault. I went in on those couple pages. I apologize. But I really wanted to like get y'all in motion, especially those who haven't read, that I'm gonna read some of the notes that I always write, like some notes at the end of the chapter. There's just a lot of depth in these chapters. So I'm just gonna read a couple things I didn't cover. He goes, know what you want, be specific about it, test if it is right for you, change yourself for it to come naturally, and have faith. This is like my notes based off like what he said in a couple paragraphs. Know what you want and be specific. Key, test if it is right for you or not. The only reason why me and Mikhail know that selling products is not right for us is because we sold products. I put on the lotion. I was telling people take these protein powders. I was telling individuals, yo, you should use this because it helps with your pain. And I believed in it, and I still buy product. I still be taking recovery to this day. My knees be hurting. But but like, yo, I tried it out. Did the parties and all. Yeah, 100%. I was literally outside like, dang, I'm over here. Bro, I went in Black Friday. I was annoying. I'm like, yo, y'all buy gifts for your auntie, your girlfriend, your mama. Like, support local. Buy something for me. But I learned that selling products is not for me. I sell products still, don't get me wrong, both digital and tangible. And I know the skill, but I know like what my heart is called to do, and that's like help people in service with service. But I would never know that if I never tested to see if that's something that was right for me. Change yourself for it so that it can come naturally. That means implement habits, change your perspective, read the right things, listen to the right people so that you can become the person and then do the things that that person does so that you can have the things that that person gets. We might all know that order, right? Be, do, and have. But a lot of us are probably still doing things so that we can have the things and then become the person. And that's not the way it's going to work. You first have to become the person so that it comes to you naturally, so that you can do the things that that person does, so that you can have the things and the situations that that person gets. What the mind expects, it receives. Be specific when you ask God for anything. Do not doubt. And then say to yourself, I believe God gives me the power to attain what I really want. I expect the best, and with God's help, I will attain the best. I expect the best, and with God's help, I will attain the best. If I have the creator of all things by my side, who is going to stand against me and what can literally overcome me? The answer is nothing and nobody. But like, I fervently believe that. Like, I will die on that hill gladly. But you have to like fully believe in that. And I believe that it really takes a willingness to dive deep in what it is that you're currently at so that you can change that thought process. Um, boom. This guy said, I think it's in this next chapter. I don't believe in defeat, right? It's the last thing I'll say. For this chapter, in chapter 8, he goes, and I wrote off to the side of this one paragraph, be willing to find out what works. So I'm gonna read this paragraph to you guys, and I'll pass it. But it says, again, I repeat, there's no difficulty that you cannot overcome. A wise and philosophical man once said to me, when asked how he overcame his difficulties, how do I get through a trouble? Well, first, I try to go around it. And if I can't go around it, I try to go under it. And if I can't go under it, I try to go over it. And if I can't get over it, I just plow right through it. Then he added, actually, God and I plow right through it. And then he repeats to himself, I believe that. And sometimes when we're faced with a problem, we might come about a possible solution. And usually it's unto our own regard, into our own perspective. And then when we're faced with defeat, right, we try to go under it, but we can't. We're like, well, damn, this problem, I don't know. There ain't no other way. But odds are is like you're literally looking at this is how I like to describe it to people. You're looking at your situation with it zoomed in. The only way you can see if there's a way around it, above it, under it, or through it is if you zoom out and you pay attention from a different vantage point. Here's the power of community and being around other faith-driven people. You get to take other point of views, right? If I am on the sidewalk looking at a building, but my friend is in the building a few blocks over, 30 stories high, and he's looking at the same building I'm at, would you guys agree that it would look different? The answer is yes, right? You're going to have a different vantage point. Now, if you are connected with people who have different perspectives of the same thing, don't you think you're going to see something differently than if you were looking at that same thing by yourself? I think that's so key, right? If you put your pride aside and recognize, like, I need help. I need other people in my corner, and I need your perspective on this matter so I can think clearly. You can go about it and understand the possible avenues of solutions that you can go and get after. And the only way that you don't win is if you allow yourself to quit before trying all possible solutions. So whatever you got going on, whatever you plan on accomplishing this year, you're going to go through storms. You're going to have it. In fact, it's so crazy how much I've used this principle over the last 60 days going into 2025. But you have to be able to see different perspectives and different vantage points so that you can go and get to where you really want to go. It's possible. It really is possible. And no problem is too big. Instead of telling your God how big your problem is, how about you tell your problem how big your God is? And hey, appreciate it, sis. No, but that's real life though. I have to tell myself that all the time. And then I'm like, all right, Satan, get behind me, bro. I'm not believing your lies. All right, issue. Let me introduce you to my friend. His name is Jesus Christ. You're not going to stand a chance, but it's all good. I'm going to let him handle you, and I'm going to go do what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some faith-driven individuals carry out this thought process and this practical way of living. Yo, we're blessed to have a leader like Peale in our corner. It's so wild. I was talking with Jason and Sam about how many times I've seen like God's hand really just like move upon the steels. And I'm like, whoa. And like all these principles we talk about, you can definitely learn them on your own accord. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Peale, before we read this book, we were doing a lot of these things. Obviously, Peale more so than I. He had a lot of experience and a lot of good mentorship. But it doesn't matter how you learn them. It matters that you put them into practice, right? And in the process, like I just know all these things work because I see evidence around me all the time, not only in my own life, but in the life of others. And you just got to have a willingness to operate in that faith. He says, courage and positive thinking, a deep belief in themselves, and the confidence that they can overcome all difficulties were the great values he saw in between an individual he was looking at. I'm going to repeat that. Courage and positive thinking, a deep belief in themselves, and the confidence that they can overcome all difficulties. I have good news if you are not confident to get through what you're going through. Literally, you have a spirit within you that gives you the fruit of courage. You have a spirit inside of you that allows you to have the confidence necessary to obtain self-control, to have peace in your life, to have joy that makes no sense. It's literally all there. Your subconscious mind will begin to send back the truth to you. The truth being that with the help of Jesus Christ, there isn't any obstacle you cannot overcome. That's on page 105. There is no obstacle you guys can't literally plow through. And I like y'all move in faith more than the average people do. I really want y'all to know that. Everybody on this call. The fact that you're on this call working on yourself, you know what I'm saying, on a Saturday morning. It's your attitude of mind that will make the entire difference. So faith in God and yourself is key. I don't believe in defeat. Eliminate little negatives and replace with positives. As you think, so you are. Your attitude towards an obstacle is mental. Your mental process determines what you do about them. As you think, so you are. Your attitude towards obstacles is mental, and your mental process determines what you do about them. The power to overcome your obstacle is literally in your mind. And that's where you get to connect with God. That's where you get to connect with yourself. That's where you get to connect with others. That's where you get to connect with the world around you. And at the end of the day, like, bro, we're specks, y'all, in this timeline. We're from dust to dust. We will return. We have significance because we're here for a reason. You just got to have the willingness to walk in courage and authority on what you've been given. And the only reason why you're not fully walking in it is because you don't fully believe that you've been given that. So just believe. That's literally all you need is belief and faith. Like, yes, you need action too, right? But I thoroughly believe that is all you have is faith. You have everything you need because you need faith to take action. Like you cannot take the action that will yield to what it is you want if you don't have the faith in yourself to do the action, the belief in yourself to carry it out. So you need faith and you need belief above all else, and then you can't fail, period, point blank. So continue putting it in God's hands, y'all. I love you guys. I honestly got to hit the road here in a little bit, so I'm going to be tuned in listening. But I appreciate y'all for honestly just showing up. And it's like, just know with God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible, and He is helping you, He is guiding you, and He is with you. You just got to literally train your subconscious mind where, like, without a shadow of a doubt, you believe it. Ain't no one going to be able to take that away from you. I don't give a damn what anyone says or what anybody does. You are covered. You are saved. You are smooth. Quit playing. You better act like it. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate y'all. I'm gonna shut up. I know I talked a minute, but I'm gonna let y'all kind of dive into what stood out for those who didn't read. Imani, did you read, girl? Because everyone else, I believe, hasn't read yet, except for Mikhail.
Hey, if she didn't, I got something to say. Yeah, because I've been catching up. But go ahead, Imani.
Yeah, wow, amazing guys. Love it. Yeah, I didn't read, so my
Okay.
Mikkel, hey,
No worries, no worries.
Damn, I was not ready for that. I was ready for the Imani sauce today. I
no,
ain't gonna lie to you.
here for the vibes and Marcus, man, you spitting bars as usual. So
Not much
go
love.
ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
No, that's facts, though. He definitely is. He definitely is. If I walk away, can you guys hear me over here? No?
We can
Or
hear you.
yeah.
We can
All
hear
right, that's a bet. You can probably hear my son crying upstairs too, so my apologies, y'all. But ultimately, this book is crazy, and everything Marcus just said is actually wild too. I think it literally had me over here in tears. Because in real life, y'all, this life is obviously not easy, as we all know. And ultimately, bro, this book, like, if I could literally go back and recollect all the crazy ass times in my life where shit just was hitting the fan and I was terrified, this book just walks through everything I've literally done. It's honestly
you.
really wild. And what's amazing is majority of this book, because we are on what, chapter 12, 11.
Wait, what?
It's literally, right? We're on chapter 11.
No,
What chapter are we on?
we're chapter 6, 7, and 8.
Oh, for some, you were talking about page 87, and that's definitely in chapter 10.
Okay, are you looking at the ebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different, I think, on like pages wise. But I was talking about
Oh,
physical copy. My fault.
well, thought they were the same.
No, I thought it was in two. No, it's definitely chapter 6, 7, and 8. My fault, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, on the same pages, I'm saying, where we talking about the same things, I'm pretty sure. Like, he's literally just been talking about prayer, y'all, the whole book. I don't know if anybody kind of noticed that, but like every chapter, he literally just talks about, like, yo, when you stressing out, take a second, breathe, be quiet, pray. And it's wild because in my life today, my prayer life is a little different. Like when people pray with me, it's a little different unless I'm in like a formal setting. Then yeah, I'll hit like, if we praying for dinner or something, I'll hit a family prayer and it'll be smooth. But other than that, I just be having conversations with God just like I'd be having conversations with my wife. Real life, especially because I'm in the car a lot by myself. Oh, we be talking. And this past week, I just really quick wanted to tell a couple of stories, honestly. Um, One, I'll start with my failures. This past week definitely was furious and fretting. I had a moment. My cousin kind of did me bogus on a haircut. As y'all can see, she played me right before he was going to go on a cruise, didn't say anything all week long. And then I had a moment where I had already been low key furious and fretting, and I did not read the room and I just rushed into it. And even though I walked into it with the greatest intentions and tried to literally be transparent and just check her with love. Like, yo, cuz next time say something because you don't have the clippers in your room all week long, nigga. And I had to spend an extra $70 on a taper and a lineup that don't look good 7 days later. So, like, bro, you low key had me fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But I love you though. You know what I'm saying? And it's all good. And her response back was wild. And I snapped because I was already furious and fretting regardless. And as I snapped, it made it so that me and my wife got into it. It made it so that Cabo wasn't really the funnest day. You know what I'm saying? We all kind of got back on the boat and it was just like it was smooth, but I mean Cabo low key boring anyway if you ain't on a resort or doing an excursion, but still it was like I don't know, it definitely just messed up the day and I just realized that I definitely could have just paused, breathed and said a prayer because I did not pray about that situation one time at all. And I'm willing to bet that had I actually prayed about it, her response when because y'all know how I come. I'm gonna check you with love, period, just like I do any of my family. And her response was like, "Nigga, you are not allowed to check me." And I was like, "Nigga, what?" Snapped, sent me up a wall. There goes Mikhail, and yeah. So in that, you know what I'm saying, it took a lot to get there. Imani had to calm it down. Like, okay, because I was pissed. But in that, it was definitely a failure. And as I'm literally sitting back and reading this book, I'm like, yo, I literally just could have quieted my mind and just chilled and not even let it be that big of a deal. Even yesterday, I was going to a meeting. I had a it's kind of like an interview type of thing. Basically, we are looking at a possible new partnership for the TGF empowerment sector. We got some dope things planned. But in that, I was headed that maybe that meeting was at 2. There was a lot going on yesterday, and low key, we needed to get to the grocery store first because we just came home and there's no food in the house. We woke up at 10:30, and long story short, wifey just never went to the store. She just kind of sat around till 1 o'clock, 1:30, and I'm like, nigga, I gotta go. Like I've been telling you. Long story short, we just got into it about time and about the fact that I was gonna be late to this appointment. When ultimately, all I literally had to do, y'all, was text this man and tell him I was gonna be 30 minutes late. And he was like, "Hey, bro, that's fine. No biggie. I'm actually in a car wash that's moving like a snail, so I'll be there at 2:32." I'm like, "That's crazy," because as I'm on my way there and I text him this, I'm like, I literally just got into a whole ass argument, damn near a screaming match with my wife for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Literally had to spend all day apologizing, came home with flowers last night and some more shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta repair that. But ultimately, yo, like if you actually utilize these principles and don't just read them, and you actually implement them in the small moments, it changes everything. Because let me talk about a success real quick. Shout out my mom for also having read this book and for living by its principles. If you guys were at Unlimited last year, she literally walked through a lot of this book's principles. If I'm not mistaken, the name of her presentation was somewhere around the power of positive thinking last year at not this past Unlimited, but the first one. And ultimately, I was with my mom after Ensenada the other day, and I accidentally, on purposely, but accidentally snuck a joint onto the cruise. And me and my mom go and we blow on the front deck of the cruise ship. And as we're sitting there chilling right after, I walked her back to her room and I was like, Mom, can I just real quick talk to you before we go in here? And she was like, Yeah, what's up, son? I was like, Mom, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm scared about where my life is headed, about where my attitude has been at, about everything that's going on because I don't know what option to take, about my finances, about just taking care of my family, about making sure my kids are smooth, making sure my marriage is smooth. Like all of these things are just in my head all the time. And it's a lot, period. Even just like, bro, I had no idea what we were really going to do at TGF because my emotions, shout out to chapter 6, my emotions were literally clouding my judgment, something serious. So in that, I I was about to rush into moves, and I was like, no, I'm perfect. It's perfect that this cruise was this past week because it made me take a pause. It made me get silent. It made me not open up social media. It made me not be able to really talk to anybody the whole week and just actually sit there with God. His family was pissing me off. Yeah, saying haircut stuff. So I was like, let me just talk to God this week. And with that, I really didn't take that time up until I spoke with my mom. And as I was telling her all this, and I'm like, we got all these things coming up, and this is launching, that is launching. I don't know if I actually want to do this and that and the third. And she was like, Mikhail, just take a second for right now and just be quiet and listen to me. She said, nigga, just pray. Because you come to me like you ain't did that yet. And you're one of the most prayer filled persons that I've ever met in my life. Just pray. Let's do it right now. And my mom lays hands on me and literally starts to pray with me. And in that moment, like I get to see my mom like 3 times a year, y'all, for like the last decade. And this is like that's my OG. You know what I'm saying? So in that, I be needing the moments, real life. Like I be needing the moments. I get jealous when I'm running around watching how Tia and her mom are like this close, and I don't get to see my mom that often. You know what I'm saying? Like real life. I be watching Mama Mary on the calls, like, damn, I wish I could just wake up and just be chopping it up with my mom. Be sitting in the garage with my mom. It's crazy. Sad. My computer just got full. Sorry, y'all. So the recording stopped. I gotta delete some stuff on this
Okay, I'm
thing.
recording. It's fine.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'm like, I need a hard drive. But in
I
that,
can.
um, I mean, Marcus is
No,
recording. It's
we good,
cool.
Amber. I appreciate you. Yeah, I had to hit
But
Okay.
that.
in that though, my mom just like, I needed that prayer, and in that prayer, she said everything I needed to hear, everything God needed to hear, truly. And ultimately, we just both came together right before Him and laid all my problems at His feet. And then right after that prayer, she was like, "Yo, like I want you to realize it's crazy." It was like me talking to me. She's like, "Just take inventory real quick. Look at who you are. Look at what you've done. Look at the impact that you've already made. God's hand is on your life. So stop stressing, like you told me last week. At the end of the day, He gonna lay out. It's you just pray and let it go. Mikhail, everything is going to fall into place. Everything. And then yesterday, the amount of calls and meetings that I get of just getting back into alignment with my whole self. I literally feel like I felt January 2020. It's honestly wild. If you don't know, you will know soon. Period. You will see the fruits of this labor. But in that, it's like of peace just came over me as I walked away from my mom's thing that night. Like we were literally both in tears. I'm a freaking mess in my mom's arms, crying like a little baby. And I just really realized what the power of prayer is like, bro. And then I get a text from my cousin. He's like, "Hey, I got a job position for you as a behavior specialist at a school, Gideon Pond, one of the schools you grew up in the same district." I'm like, "Quit playing with me. Let's go. Fire. I would love to do that. I would absolutely love that." Then I go sit down at this interview yesterday, and he offers me a coaching position as well as a life coach for fathers. Those of you who do know the transitions that TGF has been going through, literally for the last 3 weeks, I've been saying, yo, I want to really help fathers and husbands help create stronger family units. Then this dude not only asked me to, one, go get, like, it's going to be a year-long certification process, so it'll be like a year from now, but he's going to pay for the certification. Two, he asked me to also be in the advisory council. I'm considering, but I don't know yet. And then three, he brought up a project when it comes to, it's called the Good Fatherhood Project, and they're basically creating a group after the men graduate the project. It's a 12-week program. And so in that group, he was like, I need like structure and a system and like a place to house it. And I was like, well, you talking to the right guy, because we have this whole space already built that we're barely using. And I want to know what to do with it, and what would happen if we possibly like partnered there. And what if it was the Good Fatherhood group powered by TGF Network? I was like, I think that could be something really cool, truly. I either way, or I can just come over there and help y'all actually structure it, build the system. But as all of these things fall into place, I get a few other partnership calls. And then I get my whole family hitting me about this new platform that we're launching next week. Like, I'm like, yeah, I literally was sitting on the phone with Jason last night at Target, like ecstatic. Jason, Sam was on the Zoom. I'm on FaceTime with Jason at the same time. And I'm like, yeah, I'm excited about what's happening in my life, truly, because everything is just lining up to a point where I wanted to have a deep, intentional empowerment focus this year. And everything is lining up for me to do exactly that, while our business is also lining up for me to 10x our income. That shit is crazy for it to happen 24 hours later. But then also, I'm in Target last night, and the group of like 6 boys walk up to me, and I'm buying flowers for Tia at this moment, apologizing. And they walk past me, and they're like, he's buying flowers trying to get his ex back. Ha ha ha. And I turned around at first, like offended. And then I took a couple breaths, and I was like, there's no way these niggas are talking about me. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. I'm like, who? They're like, this guy. And they all split, and there's one white dude in the middle. Mind you, these kids are like 17, high schoolers. I was like, for real, bro? Like, what happened? He was like, he cheated on her with his ex. And then the other guy goes, 5 times. And then the other kid goes, he ate her box he ate his ex's box. Sorry, y'all, I was getting vulgar. He ate his ex's box, and then is trying to now go back to the new ex. I was like, well, dang, bro. Like, these kids are 17. And they're like, yeah, man, it's a crazy situation. You think he'll get her back? And I'm sitting there stuck. One, y'all 17-year-olds just coming to me, a random guy in Target, talking about eating boxes and doing girls 5 times. Y'all shouldn't even be doing this. I'm married as hell. So like, nigga, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, no, I don't want to know. Like, that's what my insides are doing. But in that, then they asked me like, what would you do? Mind you, I don't even know these guys, y'all. They're all circled around me at this point. I'm on the phone with Jason. I'm sitting there on FaceTime. It's on standard, so he can hear everything. He's looking at me stuck. I'm like, Jason, what would you do? He just doesn't say it's nothing. Guess what? Daddy's got it here. And in that, hey, when you dropped it, in that, I go to just speak from my spirit rather than my mind. Cause I was like, one, I got asked y'all, like, y'all dead ass, or are you kidding? You know what I'm saying? And they're like, no, we're serious. I'm like, okay, well, you guys, first off, do you know that as men, we don't need to do the dumb stuff of today's society? We don't need to be doing this girl and that girl and listening to this song and eating this cat and doing this, that. And bro, you can pick one woman like I did. I got with her my junior year, and I've been married to her. And I have a beautiful family, and I've built a beautiful life with one person. We can do that early on. And then one kid pops up and he's like, yo, I've been in a relationship since 7th grade, man. I was like, that's actually awesome, bro. He was like, yeah, I cheated on her one time, but she forgave me, and we've been good ever since. And I was like, well, again, don't do that again if she forgave you. And also, bro, I don't know if this new chick is going to take you back, but ultimately, bro, here's what I would do. I would change your life, go get in your Bible, and actually go get serious. Because at the end of the day, bro, you get one life to live, and it seems like you messed up. Obviously, you're trying to correct past mistakes. I know it's all fun and games right now because you guys are 17, but when you get older, this shit gets real. And it was a dope conversation to quick have. And then I just turned around as I was saying all this as I'm like turning my cart and walking away. And I turned around and I was like, and lastly, don't forget to wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? period. I had to tell the young bucks, put a hat on. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no thing, y'all. But in that, leaving that conversation, Jason was like, bro, that was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, bro, God just showed me a glimpse of exactly what's going to happen to you in your future and exactly the man that you are as you keep on leaning into your spirit. Because for you to talk about you about to go and work with kids, for you to talk about you're about to go help husbands and fathers, and then for you to have the conversation that you just had with them boys, that just means you are completely in alignment with what's about to happen next. And I was like, damn, bro. And he was like, it's honestly crazy, bro, because when I look at everything, he goes, man, God will literally prepare a table for you in front of your enemies. And it's wild because if you know, you know. And we got some people that we don't like in some situations and things that we're actually about to launch and move forward with as a platform. And in that, he was just literally like Jason was real life in awe yesterday. Like, bro, this is actually crazy because I know where we're about to head, truly. And that was big for me. It just realized, like, yo, if you lean into the spirit, if you lean into the positive thoughts, you lean into the hard conversations, or you really just lean into prayer and you get aligned, bro, it gets wild. It gets really wild. So truly, I'm excited. I just literally caught up. I'm gonna be all the way caught up next week. Quit playing with me. I know I didn't read starting off the call, but appreciate y'all taking a little bit and going through the whole thing because I was getting a double take as I was reading this thing. So, no, I appreciate y'all for real because this book, this network, this space that we've all curated together, it's truly changed my entire life, but it's really just solidified exactly who we all are. Period. It's like money, energy. It just brings out more of who you are. Period. So, truly, I appreciate everybody for this space, and I appreciate Marcus throwing this book into the roto because I also have noticed while I've been reading it the pitfalls that I've had in my positive thinking as well. And it makes it easier to bounce back from those because we're like actually aware, because you don't know what you don't know, period. But you can work on what you do. What gets tracked gets done. And so if you actually stay in tune on these things, the reason why we continuously do book club every Saturday for the last 3.5 years, we haven't stopped. It's literally because you have to be aware of what's going on in between your ears so that you can actively work on it because we are all works in progress until we leave this place. So I appreciate y'all listening to my quick little rant, but those are my stories for the week on how they really just got really in tune with exactly what we've been reading, y'all. So I'm excited, I'm grateful, and say we're gonna be great, man. How Mikey? So we're gonna be great. He didn't want to say it, he tired. But I love y'all. Go ahead. If anybody else hasn't gone,
Yeah, anybody
go
who
ahead,
didn't
take
read
that.
and wants to share anything that stood out to them, or obviously the floor is open. Go and get the book and read that thing.
Okay, you know what? I wasn't gonna share anything, but now that I'm looking at the titles of the chapters, I do want to share something. So, y'all can hear me okay? Hope
Yes,
so.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good.
Good morning, sis.
So, what I thought, I'll turn my camera on while I speak. So, I wanted to talk about number 7, expect the best and get it. Because we've been talking a lot about manifesting and powerful creators, and so I'm thinking about manifesting, what I want in my life, and I just love that title, expect the best and get it. um I've been, being more mindful about how powerful my words are, my thoughts, which turn into my words, which turns into my actions, which turns into my habits, which turns into my lifestyle, right? And how powerful that all is. um and so, you know, I don't want to get into the details of what I've been experiencing recently. Essentially, though, to summarize, like, so my life is going pretty good right now. There's an area of my life where I have intentions to, like, Okay, I guess I kind of have to say some details for it to make sense. So, like, long story short, I have a kid. My kid's father's not present in her life, and I've been pursuing legal action, to come to some solution that we can you know, I don't know, get him involved in her life because, I'm like a single parent and it's not easy and doing that. And I just feel like it's also not fair. Like it takes two to tango, so why is there only one doing the dance now? Um, and like as far as I just came from another meeting where I was actually sharing about this situation, and like I only want like what's in the best interest of my child. Really, that's all that I want. And like the expect the best and get it. Like where I'm at after coming from this meeting I just came from is like the I was talking about how I don't have an attachment to the outcome of this situation, like this legal situation. I just am trusting the process and trusting the fact that whatever's gonna happen is gonna be in the best interest of my child, and whatever that is will be in the best interest of me as well, because I just want what's best for her. And so like um I know that whether like regardless of what happens, we will be taken care of. Like, because that's what the evidence shows. Like she's 2 now, and ever since before she was born, we were always taken care of. And so like why begin to have doubts now is where I met with it. And so in creating this life for me and my baby, the best life, for us. Like I just have a lot of faith in God and in myself and like in our path that is meant for us. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really want to say about it. I just yeah, the word expectation. So obviously I didn't read the book, not obviously, but I didn't read these chapters for today. So I don't know, what he gets into in chapter 7 explaining this. But just my own personal take when I hear the word expect, I think about expectations and how like having unrealistic expectations can set me up for failure. But it's okay to have standards and it's okay to expect like good things for myself because like what I think about is gonna come to fruition. And so I don't want to spend my thoughts like being negative and being unhopeful, you know, and um yeah, that's just where I'm at with that. So I don't know if that makes sense, but and I'll have to go back and watch the recording of this call because I don't know what you guys talked about other than Mikhail's story about telling the kids to wear some rubbers. um, but yeah, I'm interested to hear what y'all had to say, and I will catch up on this book too, and yeah, continue to grow next to y'all and with y'all, and yeah, I think that's all I got to say. Um, and actually, no, I don't. That's not all I have to say. I don't believe in defeat, chapter 8. Like, I love that. I love that. Um, I've been thinking a lot about also how, like, I keep my Instagram algorithm. I don't know why they keep putting all these like positive spiritual things on my feed. So like I keep seeing all these posts where it's like like one of the other day I posted on my story. It was like there's so much peace in knowing that you'll never miss what's meant for you and things like that. And like I've been thinking a lot about, that kind of thing. Like I can't lose, like Ice Spice. She got a song where she's like, "How can I lose if I'm already chose?" And I love that line. Like, regardless of how you feel about Ice Spice or whatever, bro, that's a bar. And I was listening to that song the other day, and I was just like, it's so empowering. Like, I most definitely am chosen, and you know, um, yeah, I don't think that because everything is just a matter of perspective. So like if there's something happening in my life, like the situation with my baby dad, like there's it's all about perspective. And sometimes things don't happen the way I want them to happen because that's what like is God's will, not mine. And Like things will happen and I'll be like, this is not the way that I wanted to go. This is not the way it was supposed to go. This is not, you know, it feels like it's not working out for me, but it is working out for me because there's this saying in another community I'm in that it gets greater later. And I really, why is this lady blowing up my phone, bro, when I'm on this call? Um, I really believe in that. It gets greater later. And so I'm kind of all over the place, driving, talking on a Zoom, and talking about chapters I ain't even read. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I don't believe in defeat, and I'm claiming that today. That's my affirmation. And that's all I have to say.
No, that's some powerful stuff, Roshizi. I appreciate you. Recording will be up by end of day today. So probably not till later this evening, just because I've got a couple bartending gigs that I'm working today. So y'all say a prayer for me while I'm out there. But in the process, does anybody else have anything they'd like to add before we wrap this call up for today? Going once, going twice.
I'll say something real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Because of course, you know, I did not read the book. I have not started this book. Um, but I did want to come in and get some gems, which I did get from everybody. So thank you guys. But I do want to, you know, Marcus, we were just talking about this. Chapter 6, stop fuming and fretting. Um, I think, well, I know that's a big thing that I have to work on. Um, like we were just discussing, it's so crazy to have my son here with me because I've gone since he was 18. From 18 years old till what, 6 months ago, he was off on his own, doing his own thing, and him not really noticing how I respond to stuff, especially with the 3 years that I've been in TGF. Is it 3 or 4? I can't remember. 3. Okay, 3 years that
You're
I've
the
been in
founding member,
TGF.
man. Quit playing with her.
And just the change that I've done in the transformation, yes, it's been nothing sort of amazing because the old me just never operated in believing and having God in my life every day. And I know I've made time for the Bible in the morning, but for us to read it and not place these things in action, like literally, it was a day. I think it was Saturday. I don't even remember, but I just had one
Last
thing
week.
after
It was
another.
last week
What
on
was it
Thursday.
last week? I don't know.
Thursday, yeah.
And it was one thing after another. And he literally just saw me go from this, that, and then go back. And he's like, Mom, put your phone down. You got to put your phone down, Mom. And I literally freaked out. Like I got like my anxiety kind of got the best of me, and I felt pretty defeated. Um, and I felt like I let God down because if I'm a firm believer, there's no way that I should be operating in that manner. And for me to set the example that I want to set, not only for my children, but like for my friends and for my outside of my family. I know we're human and things are going to come about. And, you know, God knew I needed, you know, my son there to talk me out of that. And my brother, literally in midst of me fuming and fretting, he called me and prayed. Like literally, I was bawling, crying. You know, my husband was at work. I didn't, you know, he wasn't able to comfort me at that time, but God gave me these two precious souls that helped me get through that. And I think a lot of that I've passed down to Marcus in some effect, in that we're both growing and getting better at learning how to not fume and not fret. But I know this book is good. I'm finding every excuse in the book not to sit down for a second and read it. Because if I can scroll, I can read this book. So I'm gonna I was not on book club last week either, just because I wasn't in mode. I was out at one of my niece's games, but yes, I do need to read this book. Um, so I'm gonna get with that. And of course, expect the best and get it. We just have to put one foot in front of the other, you know. But I'm gonna read this book. So if anybody else wants to come,
Boom. Thank you for the take, Mom. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say? I was like, what is Rosizi saying in the comments? But she said, I know that's right. I was like, that's a new
Get
act.
with it.
I ain't never
Get
seen it.
with it.
I'm a little, guess I'm out of date. All right, smooth. All right, going once, going twice. So I appreciate you guys being intentional and just showing up. Even if you haven't read. I'm gonna encourage you guys to spend some time. It is a deep read, but I think it's a great insight to how you can practically live in faith and walk upon your belief. And you'll be surprised on what God really does for you when you do so. So, that being said, next week we are going to be covering chapters 9, 10, and 11. 9 through 11, I repeat, chapters 9, 10, and 11. The chapters are up to date in the next week. It'll be the first of the month. So if you hop on the call early, you might hear an oldie, an OG type of jam. You never know. Well, if you about that life, come catch me at 10:30, 10:35 when we start playing the music. Hopefully Mikhail knows what song I'm talking about, because if not, I'm gonna have to have a whole nother conversation with my business partner. It's crazy. It's like, bro, look, that man just like, red.
What are you saying?
I was
I'm
saying
over here
that
trying to fix my daughter's toy.
next week,
What'd you say?
next week when we hop on this call, it's gonna be the first of the month, and we might play an OG jam for those that hop
This
on.
man ain't trying to start it with the Bone Thugs, is he? Oh,
Yeah, I
snap.
will. But anyways, I love you guys. Have a good rest of y'all Saturday. God bless. And as always, we'll see you at the top. Bounds way too
Bye,
kind.
y'all. Have a great Saturday.
Peace.